Years of Glory, guys. I've never heard that anthem not on the grid. That was wow.
It's like seeing a teacher outside of school when you're like in elementary school.
Yeah. It's just as elaborate.
Yeah.
I like that. They commit to it.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I like it.
10 out of 10. Let's play that every week. Jeez.
That's our anthem now.
That's our anthem. Welcome to Years of Glory.
Oh my god. Well, actually, really quick, speaking about anthems, when Max won the Japan Grand Prix, they played it and I was like, oh, I'm like not having flashbacks to every other single time he's ever won a race. And it was like, oh, it's the song that they play when someone wins. Like obviously, like it's not, but I just thought it was really funny. I was like, I missed that. I missed the Dutch national.
That's a while.
Yeah,
I know. The only one I recognize.
And I was like, oh my god, the F1 outro. It's back.
Yeah, literally. I feel like while we're speaking about Max Verstappen not constantly winning, I have to start this episode with a big fact that Max Verstappen is so freaking close to dropping into a World Drivers' Championship standing position where he can activate his exit clause in his contract.
That's spicy.
Yeah, crazy.
And for those of you that don't know, he's supposedly his exit contract can be activated once he drops to P4, and he is P3.
Only P4?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like when you've won 4 back-to-back championships, like that's kind of reasonable. But
yeah.
Like also,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd love to read those contracts. I'd love to be, gosh, especially after Drive to Survive showed like Flavio Briatore maybe talking to Carlos Sainz. I'd love to read what they drafted. Love to read that.
Even what James Vowles drafted.
Yeah. Should we be F1 lawyers? Because
I don't want to go to law school.
Yeah, I couldn't. That feels like
instantly no.
Yeah.
Sorry. I went to college. I'm done. Okay. We are, that being said, debriefing Bahrain in this hodgepodge of information that we've been given. So, Max is currently P4 after Bahrain.
I think he's P3, but very close. I think George Russell's about to overtake him.
P3 and getting close to P4. Got it. Okay. Well, let's go through what got us to where we are now. You know. I didn't take a ton of notes regarding practice. I know there were a ton, and by a ton I mean like literally 10. I think. No, that's exaggerating. I'm sorry. 6 rookies that ran an FP1, which was so interesting. There was a lot of commentary on the fact that, like, yes, we did testing at Bahrain. Everybody has more data in Bahrain. Everybody has cold weather data in Bahrain, but they also know the track better and have data. So it was like one of the really good opportunities for teams to run rookies, because I believe there's a minimum of 4 practices that they have to run with a rookie. Every team has to. So love that as an opportunity for up and coming drivers. Love it, love it, love it. To just get exposure and experience. But like 6 was a lot. And then we also have, Ryo Hirakawa, who just drove for Alpine.
Yeah.
Driving
then
for Haas.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be so real. I didn't watch any of the practices. This is what happens when it's 3 a.m.
That was the main thing that happened. There were a lot of rookies in FP1. McLaren didn't run a rookie, which was interesting. They were commenting on the fact that like this would have been the one to do it if you're gonna do one of them. Yeah. And then the only thing that happened in FP3 was Charles Mirror just saying, "See ya, I'm out of here."
Exciting.
Yeah, and then that's it. That's free practice for you.
That's free practice. I mean, I don't understand. I feel like everyone should have ran a rookie in this because, like, in my mind, the top 3 places to run a rookie are Bahrain, Barcelona, and what's the last one called? Abu Dhabi. Oh my god,
where they have the most experience.
Yeah, that's
and
like
data.
Key testing, or even like Jeddah. I think they do some sort of testing in Jeddah. Someone does.
Yeah.
Maybe
it was like last year's testing or something.
Yeah, someone does Jeddah for something.
Last year, a lot of the teams ran rookies in Silverstone. I think like 4 of the teams.
Yeah.
Silverstone.
Oh, that makes sense. So many of them based in the UK.
Yeah. McLaren ran rookie in I think Abu Dhabi, and then they ran Pato Award in Mexico. I think. because of...
We are a Pato Award fan base here.
But I think it also
yeah.
depends on their rookie schedule as well, because depends what they're in, because obviously Pato Award is in different series. Is he still in IndyCar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Pato Award is in different series. Most of them are still in F2/F3. So I guess it also depends on availability.
It's so interesting to me though, because like RB, I just missed my finger like 6 times. RB, Haas, and Merck all ran a rookie when they don't have to. They've got rookies in their full-time seats. So they don't actually have to bring a rookie in for any of these rookie sessions. Isaac Hadge is their rookie. Kimi Antonelli is their rookie. Oliver is their rookie. It's like 2023. McLaren didn't have to run a rookie because Oscar Piastri was technically their rookie. And like Williams with Logan Sargent.
Interesting.
So it's like kind of like a positive, interesting to me that they still did. Like they're still like they're actually focused on developing drivers.
They would have to run. They have to run a minimum of 2 rookies, 2 different rookies.
Do they?
Or
so
at least have like 2.
Calm down. Let's not celebrate
This
yet.
is why you need to watch the YouTube instead of just listening. Just take a
Spotify. I have been uploading Spotify as a video now as well. So you little Spotify friends,
look with your eyes.
Check it out.
Your ears.
Eyes. Check it out.
Turn your phone on. Not while driving.
But yeah, so teams have to run. I can't remember if it's 2 separate rookies at 2 different tracks, or run at least 1 rookie at 2 separate tracks. But they have to run something at least twice. So it maybe if it's 2 rookies, that makes sense.
Yeah.
2 different rookies.
Okay, well, we're going to look into this. And if I remember this time, I'm going to give you your answer.
Yeah, here's my question, though. If you are in charge of your F1 team, would you rather get the rookie in early or get them in late? Like, it's just thinking like McLaren might be thinking. They didn't run a rookie because why? You know, are they waiting to run them later? I feel like it would be like, I feel like it would make sense for like 2022 Red Bull to run a rookie later once they have everything in the bag and they can just throw away as many races as they want with however much, you know, like money spent repairing cars that might be damaged from a rookie, you know? Like for me, I feel like while I understand the desire to not run a rookie early so that you can get as much data as possible early, but then you have to run them late when things still might be really close. Versus while it's kind of an open game, you know, run a rookie and deal with that as you can. And then when it gets close at the end, which I think it will be, at least if not between Max, Oscar, and Lando, at least between Oscar and Lando.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting to me. I like, which is the best option for a team?
On my point before, I've remembered. They have to run 1 rookie in each car.
Oh.
Yeah, so it can either be the same rookie or different rookies, but each car has to be driven by a rookie in 2 free practices throughout the year. So they do have to run 2 rookies.
Yeah. I don't see why McLaren wouldn't have put someone in Oscar's car at least for this weekend, because Oscar's got the grips with the car. Sorry, Lando, I can't completely say the same with you.
He said it himself.
He's not happy though.
Yeah.
But Oscar's so with grips with the car, he's absolutely pushing that car to its limits. He's got it under control. So I don't see why putting a rookie into his car for literally 1 session of the weekend would be a problem. Like, obviously you don't want to do it on a sprint weekend where you only have that 1 practice session. Like we said, Bahrain, everyone knows this track. Everyone's had testing on this track.
Like, temperature-wise, it was going to be completely different from the actual race. It was kind of like a little bit of a throwaway.
Yeah. So I just don't see, I don't know, I feel like McLaren just probably wasted opportunity there. But I don't know, maybe behind the scenes, I guess we don't know. Like, do they go into the season going, all right, well, these are the races we're going to run our rookies? Or like, by ear? Like,
I guess it would also depend on their rookies' capability as well, because obviously Pato is very experienced. I assume they're going to put him back in as one of their drivers this year. Very experienced. Like, they kind of, I would imagine, have trust in him to be able to at least pull some data from the car. Whereas
and not have anything crazy happen.
Yeah. Whereas if it's like a fresh rookie that it's their first time or second time in an actual F1 car, might be a little more risky. They might save that for later in the year.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends on the capability of the rookie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah,
I'm
that's
trying
kind
to
of.
think who McLaren's like other rookies are though. Like
I know.
I don't know if it's being done because like Gabriel Bortoletto would have been for last year because he was McLaren like backed. Pato Award obviously. Their reserve driver's Valtteri Bottas, so he's not a rookie. I cannot think. Oh, I guess they could put like Alex Dunn or someone from like the feeder series in. But like, I love Alex Dunn, but I don't know if I'd trust him in an F1 car yet. He still has like a little bit of trouble with his own car.
You know, it would be, I mean, I don't know. I think she's problematic. I've seen some problematic things from her, but Bianca
You're gonna say
Bianca?
I knew
she
this was
is
coming.
part of the development program. And as much as there are pros and cons, it would be, at the end of the day, a woman in F1.
Is she still part of their program though? Because I heard, and I mean it's all in the rumor mill, but I heard they completely dropped her after last season's F1 Academy.
Yeah, I heard they dropped her as well. But I did just look before you touch on that. The only reserve driver linked to McLaren at the moment is Pato Award.
Yeah, because the website, the McLaren.com website /racing/Formula One / a bunch of things / what is the driver development program with an E because they're British. They still have Bianca Bustamante on there, but they do also still have Gabby Bortoletto on there. So
maybe they need an update.
Never mind. Part of the URL says 2023.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
There's the kicker. That one.
Well, I guess we will see. I definitely, if we are talking F1 Academy ladies, I would much prefer to see Abby Pulling drive in the Alpine.
Yes. She's not going to get a chance though. There's so many freaking reserves.
I know.
Now. I doubt Franco counts as a rookie, but they've got Paul Aaron, and I'm sorry, I want to see him in that Alpine. Fuck.
Yeah.
Take it.
Franco wouldn't count as a rookie because it has to be someone with less than 6 Grand Prix starts.
There you go. I knew there was some like condition.
Yeah. So it would be Paul Aaron.
Just screaming. It would be so cool to see Chloe Chambers drive Esteban Ocon's car because then you would get Laura Muller and Chloe Chambers. That would be so cool.
Yeah, surely. Okay, let's write an email to House.
Yeah. Or, oh my god, I can't think of her name right now because it's French and I always forget how to pronounce it. Yep.
Yeah.
In the Ferrari.
I was also thinking about her.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, so far we've only got Joe as the reserve driver and he wouldn't count as be able to drive in FP1 because he was a full-time driver.
Yeah.
So who are they going to put in the car?
I think they'd put Maya Weg in because she's the Ferrari Driver Academy and she's racing for Ferrari in F1 Academy.
There's Aurelia Nobels as well.
So long.
I think
but
she was
like
a
baby. She's just fresh, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because especially Aurelia is like struggling with her F1 Academy car at the moment. Like she keeps getting taken out, the poor thing. I don't know if you guys are like watching F1 Academy actively, but like every single race she's just been like taken out. No fault of her own.
Oh.
But I feel like no matter whether it's your fault or not, your confidence is going to get like a beating.
Yeah, totally.
So I feel like putting her in an F1 car would just not be ideal yet. But I feel like Marv Wade could really, I feel like she could do well.
Yeah. I just want to see a woman do it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Please. I will wake up at any time. Whatever that free practice is on, I will be awake.
Britt will actually watch the free practices.
I've never watched free practice one. That's so boring.
Oh my gosh, no! That's what my soundtrack is on Fridays. I'm just either watching whatever I didn't watch the day before, or watching it live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll put it on in the background, but I don't sit down and watch it like I do quali.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you what happened.
Speaking of quali, though, quali was kind of crazy scary at the very beginning because both Red Bulls almost got knocked out because of track limits. And there were so many track limits at this freaking race.
I mean, I'm going to wait until we get to the conversation about Q3, but I, obviously, once again, it's technically just the rumor mill, but, and I feel like you guys are going to know what I'm talking about, but I fear we're bringing back Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, McLaren rivalry in McLaren.
Well, no, please take it away. All of the notes that I have is that Ocon crashes.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Don't need to hear about that. That's pointless. So apparently, and I'm saying apparently because I'm not an engineer, so I don't read the numbers all that well. But apparently, Oscar Piastri he like slowed down at a certain point in his flying lap, and it messed up Lando's flying lap and ruined his tires, so that he couldn't improve, and Oscar got pole. And everyone's like, he cheated.
Allegedly. Now
Allegedly.
listen, I think that Oscar has it in him and Lando's in his head.
Yeah. Well, we also, I don't know, I finally watched Drive to Survive the other day, guys. Be so proud of me. But I saw that part where he was like in that like black little interview room, and they're like, are you happy to be number 2 to Lando? He's like, no.
Yeah.
And that's all that plays through my head in like the whole idea of like, what if Oscar goes to Mercedes, or what if Oscar goes to Red Bull, or like, and just like F's on everybody. Like, what if they get their crap together and he just like goes somewhere else to just dominate and be number 1 driver?
No, my God. No.
Well, apparently there's been rumors that there is contractually they can't pick a number 1 driver. So I think
we have Mark Webber to thank.
Thank you, Mr. Webber.
Live, laugh, love, Mark Webber.
He said, I'm
Mark
not
Webber.
letting this
Mark Webber. Don't you dare say Mark Webber. Mark Webber. I wasn't gonna.
Sorry, Britt, you were saying.
I love our vocal stems.
Oh.
What I was saying. Yeah, so I think it actually does just depend on who is ahead in the championship, and if they're going to get competitive and they're going to start bringing out, little cheeky moves, that's racing. If they weren't on the same team, they'd be doing that to their rivals, so it shouldn't matter that they're on the same team if they're in a fair fight for the championship.
I think so, hey.
Yeah, well, exactly. Fair fight. Like, keyword fair. Don't do anything dirty, but if you can do it clean and race politely, Yeah,
if Max did that when Lando was behind him, it would be a strategic way
Max would do worse.
Max would.
So
let me brake check him. No, he wouldn't. I mean, I'm going to once again preface this with allegedly, simply because I can't remember who I saw in the photo. In Melbourne, in the AusGP paddock, George Russell was sat down, and this is why I'm saying allegedly, because I can't remember which duo it was. I don't know why I can't, but it was either Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, or Zach Brown and Andrea Stella. Whoop, we're partying. George Russell switch. I can't remember who it was, but he was seen in the AusGP paddock.
I think it was McLaren.
Yeah. I remember it being like, whoa.
But George still has years left on his contract.
Because George is out. His contract ends this year, the end of this year. So
no, sorry. Yeah, I mean, backwards. It's McLaren still has time on theirs because they're through 28 with.
That was like a day after Oscar's extension got announced.
So I'm wondering if either A, they were in talks with him and had to say sorry, we've signed him, or B, they're saying keep on standby, we've got wind that Oscar has signed with us but wants to go elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Because like, Oscar's very talented, so I feel like if the right team wanted him, they would pay for him to get out of his contract. They would buy him.
Yeah, but would Oscar leave?
I don't know that he would sign an extension, because his contract was already until like 2026 or something. So I don't know that he would sign an extension on the potential that another team, that he'd want to go to another team. I think he would just tell them, instead of being extended, let's see how this season plays out.
Yeah.
Because of how he was with Alpine before he got signed with McLaren. That's just my thoughts on that. Not saying that it might not happen, And Mark Webber is pulling some strings behind the scenes, so we don't know. But Mark Webber's obviously lived it.
Because like realistically, unless he's gonna go to Mercedes, he's going to have to wait until like 2027 anyway, because I think Max Verstappen's in contract until the end of 26, and I think he'll retire.
I feel like it's crazy to think to switch teams now when all the regulations are going to change. Nobody's going to really, we'll know who's good based off of who has money. No, I don't think Haas is going to randomly jump to the top. I would love that as like a concept, like as a story. Yeah. But it's probably going to be the normal top 4 that we know. But that order's even going to get shuffled around, and everyone's you guys know I keep talking about it. I'm really excited for everybody to suck.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that because it's interesting. I think that's part of what this race kind of Oscar was out there by himself. We were focused on places 2 through 10. not really first. He just kind of took it and ran with it, which, like,
He did this thing.
I think we were talking in the WhatsApp. I can't remember which one of you said, but like he has 100% conversion rates for
Yeah.
Poly to P1 in the race.
Only F1 driver in history to have 100% pole to win conversion rate.
Yeah, huge.
That's insane. But
And
obviously, it'd be off.
I mean, granted, it is two poles
Yeah.
to wins, but
2 data points.
but
A win to
not
win.
even Max has that record, so you know,
And he's got a lot.
saying something.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that I feel like Lando could have absolutely lost it if he had been in pole, because we know he struggles with starts. Obviously, well, I mean, let's start chronologically through the race then. We start with
Let's start where Lando fumbled.
False start. You know, I wrote in my notes, like, it feels like he always, unless he's in the second row, he chokes, because in the front, if he's P1 or even P2 sometimes, I think he's too in his head, especially if he's next to Max or around Max. He's panicking. But
I
then
think Max
now it seems like
him stresses him out.
Yeah. But now it feels like he was almost overcompensating. And maybe it was just a silly mistake, but like there is simply no room for that.
Yeah.
Not with Max next to you.
No.
That was a George Russell move from Max.
That was so quick.
His head.
Well,
snapped.
the second that like he saw Lando pull up, he was like,
"What now, Lando? Now what?" And the slight roll, he was like, get him out of here, boys.
Yeah.
Pick him up, get a crane, tow him out.
Yeah. So
23-19.
he had a 5-second penalty for that. Which, I mean, fair. Obviously, he was ahead of his grid box. But I was watching the race later when like it was like Charles was behind him, and I was like, wait, did he serve the time? And then he had, and I was like, well, there's all my hope for a podium for Charles.
Yeah.
But I think it's
he had a really rough start, Lando.
I think he gets in his head, and I want to talk about the video I sent you guys when we get to the end of the race. But as far as other penalties go, I can't remember why Liam Lawson also got a 5-second penalty, maybe for contact with someone. And
maybe pushing another driver off the track.
Yeah, maybe.
I cannot remember.
I can't remember, but he did get a penalty, and then there was black and white flags for Kimi and Isaac, which was so interesting because there were so many track limits.
Yeah,
just so many of them
everywhere, front and center.
Yeah, so I guess the next best segue is probably to more issues, which is technical difficulties. What happened?
Mate, why did everything go wrong?
All of it. Yeah, so, okay, George Russell had a transponder issue, and that caused him DRS issues, right? But then other cars had DRS issues also.
Yeah.
What? And then they can't show the order.
In DRS.
Yeah. And then it's like, they're like reading us the list of the drivers because we can't see any of the orders. And I think in your notes that you sent, they're showing time to the leader, not the interval time between. I'm like, I need to know if they're within DRS. I don't care that you're 25 seconds behind Oscar. Of course you're 25 seconds behind Oscar.
I can't do that math that quickly.
No, I know, because then it's like 6.230 to 7.016. I'm not doing math.
Yeah,
do it for me.
No,
fun.
That's
not that I can't. I would like to make it clear. I can do it. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
See, I can't do it. That's
I can do math.
I can't do it, so I can't. Oh my god. No, I think possibly the worst technical difficulty that happened this weekend was Red Bull's pit board. They're like, do you know what I'm talking about? The light to like tell them when they can leave the pit. It stayed red.
5-second pit stops.
This is I've got other pit stop times just to compare just how bad this was. So Verstappen's pit stop was 4.7 seconds, right? Gasly's 2.4. Not great,
respectable.
But this is where we're all gonna go, what? Sauber's pit stop, Kickstake's pit stop with Bortoletto was 2.2 seconds. Where's the 30-second pit stop gone? That's how bad that one little light issue where the light was green.
It happened multiple times.
Yeah, for both drivers as well. It wasn't like just like a one-off thing.
Because
bring back to like manual pit boards.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first year that it's the automatic light? Or is it like the first couple of years? Because I feel like it's not that long ago that we had a person
Yeah, I can't
letting
honestly,
them go.
I couldn't tell you when they started. I
Yeah.
kind of didn't notice we'd switched from the
No.
person to the light
I didn't either until
that happened. I
weekend.
didn't realize.
And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's an automatic light. What?
I
Because
know.
I
Well,
also
and then
thought it was kind of GP on the radio saying like go.
Yeah.
go.
Hurry up! Let get mate! Why are you
Oh
stop?
But
Fucking
then
send it!
down the pit lane, we have Jonathan Wheatley at stake, probably like,
Yeah.
what's
We're
going on
faster
down
than
there?
you!
Yeah.
Red Bull
Yeah.
Stark takes faster than you! That's what he
Yeah.
was probably coming down the pit lane.
Yeah. So I don't know. Crazy. Because I think it happened to both drivers. Like, it didn't just happen more than
Yeah.
once. It happened to both. Like, they didn't just screw up one
Yeah.
person's race. It was both of
No.
them.
Yeah.
And you know what? It had to have happened to the like two most aggressive drivers. They were, I don't know if you heard their radios, they were losing their minds.
Oh
Yeah.
my, no, I know. So, well, and like, that's the
I
thing.
would
Like,
too,
that's the
but-
one thing that they have to do.
Yeah.
Literally, their one job the entire race
Is to make sure that goes off without a hitch.
And yes, it was not the pit crew. I
No.
will give them credit because they actually
Yes.
did have a quick stop.
Yeah.
It was the light.
It was the
I
technology.
think they were all confused. They all
Yeah,
looked
they were.
confused
They were.
while they were still sitting.
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I would
no.
have been confused.
Well, and the tough part was watching some of the replay from Max. Max goes. He like knows it's done, and
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
instincts say to go, but the light is red,
Yeah.
and he catches
Yeah.
himself,
like,
and then he goes, and he's like,
He
you know.
hesitates.
Yeah.
Hesitating kills Max.
Because I guess as well, what would have gone through his mind is, yeah, I can go. It's saying red. Maybe
Yeah.
A, there's a car, but also
Yeah.
penalty if you go
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
red, which would then add more time.
Yeah.
So I think GP actually did, or someone went on the radio and did end up telling him to go.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone had to.
Yeah. And
Oh,
Yuki's
wow.
stop was faster because they were watching, like they were expecting it, and they were just
Yeah.
watching the light.
They knew that there was going to be the issue because then it went
Yeah.
from red to red, and then the second time it went from red to yellow, and they like cut on the feed to like the guy looking at the thing and being like, "No, it's broken."
Yeah. Yeah, he was like,
Oh,
yeah,
it. Yeah,
no.
Max had a shocking race all round though. Like he just had the worst luck. Like everything was overheating. He was overheating. Did they just chuck a heater in the car? Like that poor bloke. Like absolutely.
and had no water.
Yeah. Great. Really good. It must have been pretty hot because like Lewis Hamilton's like, you know, the like I actually don't even know what it's called. You know the insert piece that goes on their shoulders
Yeah.
in the cockpit? That was
the
melted on his. Not the Hans, like it goes on top of it again. It's like part of the car.
foam.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah. That was melted on Lewis's car.
Yeah, it was like crunkled.
Yeah.
Sprinkled and
Crunkled. Yeah.
The right side. Crunkled. And yeah, I don't know if it was melted or if it was just
Bashed in?
kind of like the
Yeah.
G-force, because that happened it was one of the rookies' cars last year, maybe Franco. His first race, that was bent in on both sides because of the G-force.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine it would be that for Lewis, who's been in it like 17 years.
It's gotta. I probably has something to do with the heat softening the material on top of like, just everything else that happens in an F1 car when it's hurtling around a track.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Maybe it was like a new one and it was like a design flaw and it just like imploded in that little bit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like a bit like structural.
It wasn't enough, like, yeah. I don't know, but that was really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so rude while we're talking about this. I need to jump back to the start. I forgot about this. But going back to Lando having an absolute awful time, the poor bloke. He tried so hard to go after Charles into turn 1.
Yeah.
Fumbled it so bad that Lewis also overtook him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just
Was
dropped.
that his locker?
I think so, yeah.
But to be fair, like when they're all taking off from their grid spots, he has a really good getaway. Like it is insane. He is taking off down the middle. Like that, and that's where I think there's got to be some mental element, and like I want to root for him, but there's just these things that are in my way that again we'll talk about when we get to like the end of the race and like post race media. But like if it weren't for the handful of centimeters that he was ahead, like, he would have had a really solid start. Even if he does get past, and even if he does fumble it a little later, because that's the thing, it's like there's always two different components to it, and then almost three. Like, there's actual reaction time, there's the getaway time, and then there's managing. You're in the throng of cars at the very beginning when everybody's bunched up. Not just in the line like in a safety car, but literally side by side through almost 4 cars wide sometimes.
Yeah. At genuinely turn 1, I don't feel stressed like that throughout the rest of the race.
For any of them. Turn one
is a different kind of stress. Like turn 1, lap 1, different kind of stress.
You know what we should do? I should look at my heart rate monitor on my Apple Watch. Because it'll probably peak then and then just like chill out.
Literally. I find myself like subconsciously just going, oh,
my whole body. I'm in the car with them.
I had a
turn 1.
Yeah, I had a watch party for China Grand Prix with 3 of my friends that had never ever watched a race before. So it was their first time watching a race, and we sat down before the race. They were like, "Can we ask you questions about what's happening?" And I was like, "Yes." And I said, "But 2 rules I'm setting for you: do not talk when lights go out. Do not talk during the first like 3 or 4 corners." I said, I'll look at you when we're ready to go. And I said, and do not talk when a radio message comes up.
Correct.
And literally the lights went out and they took off. And they were like, and they were excited. But they were like, "Oh my God, it's starting, blah, blah." And I was like, shh.
Let me focus.
I'm stressed.
I'm currently driving 20 cars right now, actually. Mentally,
I'm everywhere.
Yeah,
literally.
I'm also in the helicopter watching, so let's just give me.
I am multitasking here.
Oh my God. All right. Well, the last piece that we have from the race is all of the battles that we had, and I know there's a couple we want to talk about here, so let's just hit those first.
Yeah.
Hamilton versus Sainz. We had a little bit of a scuffle going on.
It's so tasty.
I loved it.
I love it. Every time they battle,
you can't write that. That just happened.
No. I feel like Lewis goes out of his way to target Sainz just to be like, "Got your car."
Yeah, but I mean, that battle was so poetic because they've battled like that in their old teams.
Yeah.
And it was, it was cool. You were like, "Oh yeah, Ferrari, Mercedes battling, whatever." The fact that Carlos was in a Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had damage at that point, but he was in a Williams.
Yeah.
Like, they were both overtaking each other, I think, twice before Carlos ended up coming out ahead.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. I think it was just before he got damaged, but like, regardless,
that's a Williams against a Ferrari. I can't imagine that anyone thought that would happen.
No.
Especially to Lewis.
Yeah.
At the end of last season.
Yeah. And I cannot for the life of me work out if it's like solely because that Ferrari is truly that bad, or if the Williams is really that good, or if it's like a nice mix of both where like, the Ferrari's just bad enough and the Williams is just good enough to like meet in the middle.
I refuse to think the Ferrari is bad. So that aside,
best car on the grid. It's a rocket ship.
But I've been
positive
talking about it
mindset
all season of like, is Alex Albon randomly better? Is the car randomly better? Like, what? I want to know everything.
Yeah,
basically.
I feel like it's a mix of improvement from Williams on all fronts: the car, the drivers, the strategies, whatever. I feel like it's an improvement
huge
from there
too.
Yeah, but also it's. And I'm not saying Ferrari's car is poor, and I'm not saying that Lewis's driving
you better not be
poor,
saying that.
No, but I think it's the teething issues that we're seeing at the moment between Lewis and Ferrari, and I think later on in the year we might see more of an improvement in the consistency of finishing position.
Do that.
Yeah. Well, DC is still ours. We're coming for you.
We've got it. You've also got to think like the Mercedes and the Ferrari are such different cars.
Yeah.
So it's got to be tough to get used to that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's the same as like, I can't use Yuki as an example because he kind of got into the Red Bull and just did good.
Yeah.
But like, it's like Isaac Hadjar going into the RB. Like, obviously F2 cars all equal. They're not the greatest cars unreliable, and as he would know, they like to stall on the grid, and that ruined his championship last year. I don't want to talk about it. I will cry. Anyway, it's going to be a big difference going from that to that. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously, Australia, they all struggled because it's a new car. They all crashed. Even seasoned veterans did it too. It was insane.
Yeah.
Can confirm my shoes are still freaking wet, but that's not a worry. Don't worry about it. But I feel like no matter what, if you're going from one car to like a very different car, there's going to be those issues.
Yeah.
And like, Leclerc's doing okay, but like, I think there's also something with the car. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're going into the 5th race of the season. Like, nobody's brought upgrades yet. The cars always start like crap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, well, not crap, but like worse than they are by the time you get to the end of the season. By the time they bring improvements, we're going to have the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
It's fine. At least that.
I think there's been like a new floor here or there, but I don't think anybody's brought like an upgrade package yet.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like Ferrari had upgrades this week, didn't they?
I think Haas had a new floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I've just lied.
On the notes it says FP1 Ferrari testing new floor upgrade on Lewis's car, but I don't imagine that would be in the race.
Yeah, they wouldn't have.
I don't know. Yeah.
But another great battle was again Sainz versus Yuki.
Which RIP knocked
great,
him out.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really bad damage, and it kind of like, I felt like I had a trauma response, and it was like flashbacks to like Baku in 2023, where George and Max had that massive biff into like turn 3, and George ruined Max's side pod, but Max still did great, and they both ended up on the podium, and then they like nearly punched on. Like,
that's where the beef like really started.
Yeah, and like I kind of felt like I had trauma from that, and I was like, oh my god, it's happening again. Like, oh my god. But like,
especially with Yuki and Carlos, like they are both very they get heated.
Yeah,
that's really fair. But yeah, that was a safety car, which David Coulthard I've been listening to the F1, Alex Jakes and Jillian Palmer, and David Coulthard sometimes on there. He was saying like could have been an email, could have been a virtual safety car.
Yeah. I feel like they chucked a safety car in there just for shits and gigs.
I feel like it was such a long safety car, and for so long, I don't think anyone, I didn't at least, had no idea what it was for.
No, not for a long time.
Because they're so confused.
So long. Because the safety car came out and the marshals weren't on the track for like 2 laps.
Yeah. So I had no clue what was happening there.
Like, Crofty was like, are the marshals even on the track? What? And everyone was like, no, they're not. And he was like, are they sleeping?
Nap time? Yeah. I mean, while we're talking about commentary, and especially Crofty's commentary, I have to, especially because Soph doesn't listen to Crofty's commentary, I've got to bring this golden piece of commentary to you, because obviously we know I love Pierre Gasly. I'm a Gasly gal. This was cinematic. And like, keep in mind that while this commentary was playing, this was another technical difficulty issue that they had. While this battle was happening, for some unknown reason, the graphic said replay. It wasn't a replay, it was live, but it said replay. And Crofty was like, this is definitely not a replay, but he was like, I can't. I read this to Mum earlier and I was in tears.
It actually sounds like what they were going to cross the finish line at the same time. That's the kind of energy that he brought to this.
But also the way he started it, I genuinely thought someone had just died and they were like doing like a breaking news coverage.
Yeah.
He like, in the most like somber almost voice, he goes, throughout the living rooms of France. And then I was like, oh my god, who died? Oh my god, what's happening? Like some like French dude died. Oh my god. And then he goes, people are hiding behind their sofas as Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon lock horns. These guys have come together a few too many times as teammates.
What a way to deliver. Like, he starts here and ends pretty high still, but definitely not where he started.
Yeah.
No, but it also like, didn't go anywhere because the battle lasted for like 2 turns. So by the time he finished saying they've battled a few times over the years, I can't remember who came out ahead, but they were ahead and they were gone.
Yeah, no, I reckon it was like, not exaggerating when I say they were out of DRS, they must have been like at least 2 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
Like, he took that long to deliver that sentence that they were just gone.
Like, genuinely, the Sainz versus Hamilton battle was longer than that.
Yeah, that one was good. And then the only other one was Lando and Charles back and forth, kind of fighting.
Yeah.
Because there was some good
That's a
defense
bit
there, but
embarrassing.
nothing crazy notable. Like, just clean
Well,
racing.
Yeah, this was when Charles's DRS was busted.
Yeah.
Because
And they were
Lando
like,
had
DRS. DRS.
Yeah, Lando had DRS, or kept like coming in and out of DRS zone. And Charles, I think, was in DRS range to George, but it wouldn't activate, or it wasn't working. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had no DRS to defend, so props to him for battling Lando with DRS.
Yeah, because I don't know exactly what's happening, all these freaking technical difficulties, but I think something was going on where they couldn't actually tell. I think like something must have happened with the engineer screens where they also couldn't see the interval. Because they were like,
crazy.
you need to be like 100% sure you're within that second. Like,
Yes.
if you're not sure,
Yeah.
do not use DRS. Like,
no,
and George really got...
It was insane.
'Cause he
F1 TV will show you, they'll show you the data. So they will show you like sector times, interval times, leader times. It's great. I love F1 TV. But
I wish we had
George's data was so messed up. It would go, it had obviously the list of 20 drivers, 19, whatever. He would be in second, then he would be in last, and then he would be in second, and then he would be in 17th, then he would be in second, and then he would be in 6th, and then he would be in 10th, and then he would be in second, and then it could not tell where he was. And even on the map, he was stuck.
Yeah.
He was like, his like transponder was stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
I have to bring this TikTok out. That
I hope you're showing the one that you're thinking of.
Mercedes or F1 posted it.
Princess.
Exactly. I was just about to talk about that TikTok.
Oh, thank God. It's so unhinged. It's great.
I'm glad they're getting to be like funnier with their media.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Big Card's socials?
They did a voiceover. Oh my God, what was it? It was Kim Kardashian. It was like a Kardashian thing.
Yes.
So funny.
She went to wake up Stormy. And Hadjar went to go wake up Liam. He was like, rise and shine.
Oh, I love that. No, I love that for them.
Right now.
It's giving Daniel and Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their Christmas,
everyone.
You know.
Yeah. Have fun with it. I love
Max
that.
Giving Alex that little like bear thing that repeats what you say and like jumps. Yeah. And he just had way more fun with it than Alex did. He goes, I'm taking it back.
That's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I miss those videos.
Yeah.
Same.
Bring back content.
Seriously. Well, yeah, speaking of content, I still want to talk about this Lando video that I sent you all. But the end of the race, obviously, Oscar won. Huge win. He's what? There's 1 point of difference?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's 77 and 74 or like it's 3 points. I don't know.
I'm annoyed about because the entire race, ever since Oscar got pole, every commentator and every like social channel, except for I think McLaren, but everyone was saying if Oscar can win this race, he leads the championship. First Aussie to do it in like 10 plus years, and I didn't fact check it. And I was like, hell yeah, like, and then he won. I was like, fuck yeah, he's leading the championship, woo! And I googled it so that I could like take a screenshot and I think send it to you guys.
Yeah.
And it said they were like 3 points behind, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, like that makes sense because of Australia. Yeah. But why was I think Crofty was saying it that he would be leading the championship.
They don't seem to put it into those facts that they spit out that it is all dependent on where Lando finishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was more so if Lando finishes in 6 where he started and
true.
Then he would.
Yeah.
But they don't include that.
No, they didn't say that.
That's so dumb because we don't look like fools for believing you. You look like a fool for not including all the facts.
They're supposed to be the right people.
Oscar won and he's not winning.
Yeah, they should have said if Lando finishes below 4th, Oscar will be leading the championship.
Yeah. Because it's all like there's always a if this happens, this will happen.
Totally.
It's never just like no matter like Oscar was in like P3 in the championship standings, I think.
Yeah.
So like there's no way he could just win and Lando comes second and he'd be in P1 in the standings, you know what I mean? So like I don't know. That sort of like post drives me insane because like you look silly. Just add that 2 more words.
Asterisk. Yeah.
Finishes here. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Drives me insane.
So I mean obviously huge Oscar win. Both of the Red Bulls were in the points. Yuki is doing better than Liam. I think it's probably a safe place for Liam to be to develop, and I think it was by far Yuki's time to start, showing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was great. But I think I have to put my president of the Lando Hater Club hat on for this. So
Oh, no.
I don't hate it. I don't hate Lando. I think that there's so many things about him that make him really interesting. Because I stay talking about Lando Norris.
Yeah. I stay
Yeah.
watching his content.
You can give him his roses when he deserves it.
Yeah. But I think and that's exactly the perfect segue. He's in this interview with an interviewer, believe it or not. And this guy is talking to him about his performance and saying, like, essentially the gist of it is the interviewer is telling Lando, like, hey, like, you still made up 3 places. You still podiumed.
Yeah.
And Lando's like, yeah, I podiumed. Like, obviously it's not that egregious, but, like, the way there was, like, an edge of sarcasm and self-deprecation to his tone that, like, I think Lando is beating up on himself for it, and maybe he shouldn't.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't look good to be aggressive like that outwardly. And I also think I mentioned to you guys, when Charles does it specifically, obviously I'm watching a lot of Charles content as well, but when he does it specifically, it's always those walking down the pit lane, someone's taking the video on the phone, the media phone, and he's saying, we did what we could today, obviously unhappy with, and it could be P4. And I'm like, P4 is not that bad.
Yeah.
But he's like, unhappy with it, trying to do our best for next time. But it felt like all Lando could see was, like, I suck. Like, he closes his eyelids, and that's what's on. Yeah. One says I, the other one says suck,
Yeah. Well, that's what we're saying as well. It must have, like, sorry, jump in. It must have been so awkward for that, like, journalist as well. He's trying to, like, see the positive and praise him, and Lando's just brought in this sarcastic, almost rude attitude towards him. Mm-hmm. That journalist must have felt so awkward. He was like, but like P3 is still not bad. Like, obviously you didn't win, but, like, I think it's still a good race, don't you think? And Lando telling about, like, a brilliant race. Like, that real sarcastic tone, and the interviewer sort of just went a bit quiet.
Yeah.
And he, like, tried again. He tried twice to, like, spin it for Lando and be like, oh, but, like, you didn't crash.
Yeah, and he just couldn't take the win with it. He was just like, no, we suck. I suck.
Yeah.
This car's awful. But it's a rocket ship.
Yeah, we'll put the link to that video in the description so that you guys can actually take a look if you haven't seen it. Yeah. But I did see that McLaren posted a video similar to what Ferrari does with Charles, but of Oscar and Lando walking through the garage doing that talking video. Yeah. Oscar's first. He says congrats, special race, blah, blah, blah.
Bahrain team, etc.
Yeah, hands it off to Lando, where Lando was like, oh, like, okay, race, should have been P2, like, all of this other stuff, congrats to Oscar, whatever. But all of the comments just made me want to throw up.
Oh, lovely.
Because they were like, oh, Lando, it's okay, we still love you. Lando, don't worry, you tried your absolute best. Oh, I'll have to send you guys a screenshot. That's when I messaged the group and was like, what? I hate Lando fans more than anyone else because they disgust me. And these are, like, grown women saying this stuff. It's not like teenagers. These are grown women. And I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. I hate it. But, yes, there is definitely a big difference because I did say this when Sof, you sent the link to the group where I said, oh yeah, but Charles and Max also say the same thing when they don't get the position that they want. And then that's when we got into the topic of, yes, but it's the way that they say it and how they respond to the person giving them their flowers, because I think it's important to recognise that Charles says, yes, we performed where we could, however, it's not where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
But so he acknowledges the interviewees or the journalists praise while still admitting that he's not happy with his performance. And I think that's the difference in maturity that we can see. But it is interesting that he's gone back to these ways in his first worst performance so far.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
I want to do a whole episode on that, but that'll be its own thing.
Yeah. While we are talking about post-race interviews, though, have you guys seen the photo of Max going around where he looks absolutely crazy?
Yeah, his pupils.
And he's like...
He looks like he's in like a manic
Have
state.
you not seen
Like,
it?
seriously.
No.
Oh, God.
You know me. I'm barely
wild.
foraying back onto Instagram these days.
I'm going to have to also, while you're finding this, while we're talking about comment sections, this is possibly, I think I love hate comments. I don't like giving them, but this was back AusGP time, and Pierre tweeted something about like a soccer team winning, and apparently that was controversial because I'm gonna have to, like, if you can't listen to swearing, get out of here right now. But this is so funny. Somebody just responds to that tweet. Oh my God, yeah. His pupils are insane.
He is losing his mind.
It's so funny.
Oh
Yeah.
my! Can you send me that? I'm gonna make a iMessage sticker for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he comments, "GG, I love you." That's his tweet, right?
Yeah.
These are the first three replies I see. "I'm blocking you." "Fuck off, Pierre." And the third one, which is possibly the best, "Fuck off, you French snail munching balding bastard." Like, what the fuck for? That's so funny, but like, what? I don't know. Also, for anyone who thought because I'm not set up in my room, we don't have Red Bull Denny Rick with us, we do. I have an air
Yes,
He's still with us. He follows us everywhere. He will be in this podcast, so do not stress. He's right next to us. And you can also see...
I mean, I don't think there's any beating you snail-eating balding bastard. So.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what led him to get the hair transplant.
Yeah, maybe. That was like his like motivating factor. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm going to get a hair transplant. Where's Turkey's phone number?
He turned to Kiko and was like, right, that's it.
It's time.
We're flying to Turkey.
Yeah, literally. I would too, though. Can't blame
Pack
him.
your bags.
It was just so funny, though, because like, it's so unhinged. What for?
Yeah.
Last thing I expected to see, but best thing I've seen, so a win's a win.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
But that's Bahrain.
That is Bahrain.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos.
Yeah. Tune in next week for our Jeddah recap.
Triple header.
Yeah.
Ready for it to be
perfect
over.
Run time for me. It's at 11 a.m. I'm so excited.
Ooh.
Yeah.
La-dee-da. La-dee-da.
Never...
3 a.m. for us.
Yeah.
Suckers.
3 a.m.
Yeah, don't wake up. I will not text the chat.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't be.
I will watch that when I wake up for work on Monday morning.
That's a ridiculous time. Like, if it's like 4's even pushing it, but like 5 a.m., like I think Miami's usually 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I'm feeling it, I'll wake up for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no, Miami's later. It's like 6. It's like actually okay. I don't know. There's some of like the American races and that are like 5 or 6 a.m. and like if I'm in a good mood, I'll wake up for that. But like the 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not happening.
No,
it's not
that's
happening.
Tomorrow.
If a race is later than midnight, I'm not watching it.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Not worth it. These days, it is not worth it. The race is not worth it right now.
Yeah.
Well, we will catch you for our Jeddah recap.
Our Bahrain recap. Wait.
Jeddah.
We just did that one.
We just did Bahrain.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
This is Bahrain.
Could you imagine if we were traveling with the teams? I would never know what day it is, who I am, or where I am.
Yeah, what country?
No.
Oh my God.
Guys, they're stronger than us.
All right.
2027, we're following the F1 calendar.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Sponsor us,
Glory on tour.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be crazy? We'll just sit in the paddock recording our episodes.
So
you can't be here. You can't be back here.
We're filming a podcast. Oh, that would be fantastic. Good content.
Make sure you follow us to see that content when it comes out.
Yes. We've got a lot of fun Instagram reels and TikTok, and actually check out our Facebook as well, because we've been testing out a new style of content and I think people are liking it, and it's good to get your opinions as well. So check out, I'll leave links to all of our socials in the description, so you don't even have to go searching for us. You can just click the link.
Perfect.
It'd be rude not to. Well,
on that note,
get your hands ready, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.